Let's go to page 35. This is lesson 1.5, and this lesson is to describe angle pair relationships. Okay, so first let's go over some of the vocabularies. So first is complementary angles. The complementary angles are when two angles add up equal to 90. An example of that would be like this one here. See the angle 1 and angle 2, they add up equal to 90 degrees. So this is a complementary angles. The next one is supplementary angles. There is when two angles add up equal to 180. An example would be like angle 5 and 6. Okay. The next term is adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are two angles that form a common vertex and side, okay, but have no common interior point. So adjacent angle basically means two angles next to each other with a common vertex and common side. So these are adjacent angles. They are next to each other. These are non-adjacent angles because they are not next to each other and they don't have, again, adjacent angles means they have a common vertex and have a common side. So these two angles are adjacent because they have the common vertex and have a common side. These are non-adjacent angles. Okay. Now let's go to example 1. So example 1, it says identify complements and supplements. Okay, complements are the one that add up equal to 90 degrees. So example would be this one and this one. Okay, so angle CAB and RST, okay, these two angles are 90 degrees. So these two angles are complementary, but they are not adjacent. Okay, they are non-adjacent complementary angles. Now these two angles, the angle DAC and angle RST, these two add up equal to 180. So these two are supplementary angles, but they are not adjacent. Okay, but if you were to slide this over and butt against this one, then they would become adjacent angle. Okay. Now let's go to example 2. So on page 36, example 2, it says find measure of a complement and a supplement. Okay, so it says giving angle 1 is 68 degrees, and you want to find angle 2. Okay, then see over here that you just subtract, right? So this is 90 and minus 68 will give you 22. So angle 2 will equal to 22 degrees. Okay, to find a supplement, okay, so 3 and 4 will equal to 180. So to find angle 3, use 180, right? Straight angle is 180. So 180 minus 56 will give you 124, right? So again, 180 minus 56 give you 124. Okay. Now let's go to example 3. So example 3 needs a little bit more of algebra. Okay, so let's go to example 3. So you can just kind of draw a picture of that. So basically you have this kind of situation, and this is 4x plus 8. Okay, I'm not going to put a label for now. Okay, just leave it off when you're doing algebra. And this is x plus 2. Okay, and you're looking for measure of angle BCE. Again, always write down what you have, write down the giving, and write down what you're looking for. Okay, and looking for measure of angle ECD. And so this is B, this is E, this is C, and this is D. Okay, so to find those angles, first we need to solve for x, right? Well, we know that this is a straight angle, so that means this will equal to 180. So in other words, 4x plus 8. Okay, so that's this angle here plus x plus 2. This will equal to 180 degrees. Okay, because those two are adjacent supplementary angles. Okay, so next you just have to use your algebra. So let's go ahead and combine the like terms. So 4x and 1x will give you 5x. 8 and 2 will give you 10. Okay, now to solve, you have to start to get rid of this stuff, right? So get rid of all the other terms. So minus 10 on both sides. Again, as you do your math, right, you want to go ahead and write down what you're going to do and then do it. Okay. So one of the critical skills is communication. So you have to learn how to communicate clearly. So go down step by step, okay, then Okay, now divide both sides by 5. So x will equal to 34. Now once you find x equal to 34, now you can come back here and you can look for each one of these, right? So measure of angle BCE, so BCE is equal to 4x plus 8. Okay, so just substitute. So measure angle 144. Measure angle BCE is 144, and don't forget, for your final answer, you make sure you have the label, right? The degree. Okay. Now you do the same thing for measure of angle ECD. Okay. So from ECD equal to x plus 2. So this will equal to 34. And whenever you substitute, you put in parentheses. So that's tell the reader that this is the substitution. Okay, so you can whatever you substitute, put in parentheses. Okay, that's where the people will know. Okay, this number came from substitution. So again, very important to learn how to communicate clearly. Okay, and this will equal to 36 degrees. Okay, so this is example 3. Okay. Okay, now let's go back to more definitions. Okay, next one is angle pairs. It says two adjacent angles are a linear pair. So like this one, this is linear pair because they form a straight line. Okay. Another term is called the vertical angles. Vertical angles is when their sides form two pairs of opposite ray. So angle 3 and angle 6, see angle 3 and angle 6, their side form two opposite rays. See, this and this are opposite, this and this are opposite. So vertical angles are like they are kind of facing each other. So 3 and 6 are vertical angles, and 4 and 5 are vertical angles. Okay, so over here, let's go and identify some of the angles. So identify all the linear pairs. Linear pairs means the side will form a straight line. So see over here. So in this case, angle 1 and 4 are linear pairs. Okay, so angle 1 and 4 are linear pairs. Okay, and 4 and 5 is also linear pairs. See angle 4 and 5 form a straight line. Okay, so 1 and 4 it form this straight line, and 4 and 5 form this straight line. So 1 and 4 are linear pair, 4 and 5 are linear pair. Okay, now the vertical angles are 1 and 5. Okay, and the way you can tell is the vertical angles can form two lines. So when 1 and 5, see, you got this line and this line. See that? Okay, so angle 1 and 5 are vertical angles. Okay. Okay, now let's go to example 5. Okay. So example 5 is that two angles form a linear pair. So this is a picture that you have, and it tells you it's a linear pair, and this is 5x, and this is x. Okay, so you want to find the measure of each angle. Okay, well, you know that this form a linear pair, so this is equal to 180, right? So 5x plus x, this is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so combine the like terms, so 6x equal to 180 divided by 6, so x equal to 30. Okay, so now you can find each of the angle, right? So this angle is 5x, so 5x, so 5 times that will give you, so 5x will equal to 150 degrees. Okay, and the x equals, the other one would be equal to 30 degrees. So those are two angles. Okay, so 150 and 30 degrees. Okay. Okay, now let's go and review some of the important concepts over here. Okay, interpret diagram. Okay, so again, this is for your notebook, so make sure you have that on your notebook. Okay, so this is on page 38. It says there are some things that you can conclude from a diagram, and some you cannot. For example, here are some things that you can conclude from the diagram at right. Okay, so over here, so it says all points show a coplanar, means all the points are on the same plane. Okay, so that you can conclude from that. Point A, B, C are collinear. So point A, B, C are collinear, means they're on a straight line. Okay, and also you can conclude that B is between A and C. So those are things you can conclude by looking at the picture. Okay, and you can also conclude that line AC, so line AC and ray BD and ray BE, they all intersect at point B. Okay, just based on the diagram. Okay, and angle DBE, so DBE is this angle, and EBC are adjacent angles. Okay, so you can see that these two are adjacent angles because they next to each other, and ABC is a straight angle, so ABC is a straight angle. Okay, and it says point E lies on the inside or interior of the angle DBC. So here's your angle DBC. So E is inside the angle. Okay, now here comes the things important to know. Okay, from this picture, you cannot conclude that AB is congruent to BC. So you cannot conclude that this is congruent to that. Okay, you don't know. Okay, you cannot just, because sometimes the picture may not drawn to scale. Okay, and again, that's no way telling if this is congruent to that. Okay, because this can be like, for example, this can be 1.2 millimeters, and it can be like 1.21. Okay, so again, there's no way telling. So from here, you cannot conclude that these two are same length. Okay, and you also cannot conclude that these two are same, that two angles are congruent. Okay, you cannot conclude that congruent. You also cannot conclude that ABD is a right angle. Okay, from this picture. Okay, however, if you have this picture over here, that's why you have to pay attention to the markings. So you see this marking right over here. When you see this marking, it tells you that this is a right angle. So when you don't see that, means you cannot conclude. Okay, you cannot assume that it's a right angle. Okay, also you see this red arc over here. When you see that, when you have same arc, same marking, means they're congruent. If you don't see that, that means you cannot assume they are congruent. Also, you see the hash mark. Normally, you use the hash mark to mark the length. You use the arc to mark the angles. So when you see this red hash and this red hash, it tells you that these two are congruent. Okay, they are same length. When you don't see it, then you cannot assume. Okay, means you don't know. You cannot assume they are equal. Okay, so again, the markings tell you to give you the additional information. So this marking tells you that this is a right angle, and this arc, it tells you that these two angles are congruent. This hash mark tells you that these two lengths are congruent. So those are important things you need to know. Okay, make sure you have this on your notebook.